Last year, around early August, I took a gig through one of those all-purpose job apps that pays people to do random tasks, deliveries, pickups, moving heavy stuff. I won't say which app it was because I still don't know if what I experienced was even legal or real. But I was broke and desperate, and when a $350 job popped up at 11:41 p.m. with a 2-hour cap, I didn't think twice. The job title said, Harvest Call. That's all. No other details except, come alone, bring gloves, do not speak, bag everything. It also included GPS coordinates to a place outside of town, an unmarked wooded area beyond the county line. I should have known then something was off, but money talks. The message came in after I accepted. It read, no headlights after turnoff, stay on the dirt path, wait at the lantern, short mechanical wording, no greeting, no thanks. I don't know why, but it didn't feel like a person typed it. Still, the job had already been confirmed, and I was only a 30-minute drive away, so I figured I'd at least go see. Worst case, I'd drive away if it got weird. And yeah, in hindsight, that's probably the dumbest thing I've ever told myself. When I reached the area, the paved road ended just past a gas station, and the GPS pointed me toward a barely visible trail between trees. I turned off my headlights like they instructed, and the darkness swallowed everything. No houses, no streetlights, just my dashboard glow and outlines of pine trees. I drove slowly for about 5 minutes before I saw it. A single battery-powered lantern sitting on the ground beside a crate. I pulled over and killed the engine. There wasn't another soul in sight. No cars, no voices, just the sound of my tires crunching dirt as I stepped out. The crate held gloves, heavy-duty scissors, and 3 rolls of thick black trash bags. I waited, half expecting someone to step out of the trees and start giving directions. But nobody ever came. I stood there for maybe 10 minutes, debating whether I should leave. But then I noticed something beyond the lantern. Plots of land, square-shaped, covered in black tarps and held down by bricks. They formed a straight row, leading deeper into the woods. I thought maybe it was some kind of underground gardening thing, like off-grid farming. I put on the gloves and walked up to the first tarp. The soil underneath had been freshly turned. I pulled the tarp back and immediately smelled something weird. Wet iron mixed with mildew. Underneath were these thick, tangled roots that didn't look natural. They weren't stiff like tree roots. They pulsed slightly when I touched them, like they were alive. They were twisted into odd patterns. Some of them spiraled inward. Others looked like letters, or symbols, or even eyes. I clipped a few of them with the shears and bagged them. A clear fluid leaked from the cuts, thick like sap, but cold and almost oily. The bag was heavy after just a few strands. I moved to the next tarp. Same thing, different pattern. The smell got worse the deeper I went. I told myself it had to be some kind of experimental botany project, or a prank. But the soil wasn't just turned, it was soaked, blackened, like it had absorbed something it wasn't supposed to. After the 4th tarp, I noticed the silence. Like, not just no animals or wind, but the kind of silence that feels intentional, manufactured. I looked around and realized I couldn't see my car anymore. The trail had vanished behind trees I didn't remember walking through. I called out, just once, hello? Nothing answered. A few seconds later, I heard the snap of a twig behind me. Not fast or aggressive, just deliberate. I froze, then turned around. Nothing there. The lantern light didn't reach past the 3rd tarp now. I started to panic. My phone had no signal, of course. I figured I'd just grab the bags I'd filled and go back the way I came. But when I got to where I left them, they were gone. The gloves I hadn't used were gone too. Only the crate was still there, but it had been turned around. The opening now faced away from me. I didn't touch it. Then my phone buzzed. No number, just a plain text message. Leave the last one covered. Payment is processing. I hadn't mentioned I was close to the last tarp. I hadn't uploaded anything. But somehow, someone knew. I looked at the final square of soil. The tarp on that one was cleaner than the others. Tighter. No roots bulged beneath it. Just a single footprint on the tarp, like someone had stepped on it before leaving. I wish I had left right then, but I didn't. Something told me not to touch the last tarp, but I had to see. I told myself maybe it was a test, that they were watching to see if I'd follow instructions. I moved the bricks away and slowly peeled the plastic back. What I saw underneath was not plant matter. It wasn't dirt. It was fabric, jeans, a flannel shirt, both soaked and embedded into the soil like they'd been there for days. I dropped to my knees and cleared more of the dirt. Beneath the clothes was a shape, a human one. I didn't see the face. I couldn't. My body just shut down. I remember hearing something move behind me, a low scraping sound. Not footsteps, something dragging across the ground. I stood up and turned around expecting to see, I don't even know. But there was nothing. The lantern had gone out. The light was just gone. That was the moment something clicked in me. I didn't think. I didn't gather anything, I just sprinted. Through brush, over roots, back the way I hoped I had come. I ran in total darkness, only stopping when I slammed my shin against a rock and tripped. When I got up, I realized I could see faintly again. The road was ahead. My car was parked, engine off, doors locked. I had left them open, but now they were locked. I jumped in through the passenger side and started the car without thinking. As I reversed out, my phone buzzed again. Another message, still from no number. You broke the seal. You were warned. I almost drove into a ditch. I didn't stop until I hit the freeway and the woods were miles behind me. I kept looking in my mirrors, but there was never anything there. Just the feeling like something was behind me, staring. The next morning, there was a check in my mailbox. No envelope. Just the check folded in half. $350, no name, no sender. Just my own scratched handwriting in the endorsement line. I hadn't signed it. I didn't even recognize the pen. I burned it in my kitchen sink and watched the smoke curl into the vent like it knew where to go. I didn't go to work for 3 days. I didn't tell anyone. I couldn't. Since then, I've seen signs of it. Not obvious ones, just small things. Plastic bags I don't remember using turning up in my laundry. The smell of wet dirt and iron following me into closed rooms. My apartment power flickering at exactly 11:41 p.m., 3 times in 1 week. I tried to report the job in the app, but the history was gone. Like it never existed. Like I was never even logged in. I keep thinking about that body, the clothes, the shape of it, the way the soil seemed to cling to it like it wasn't done with it yet. I don't know what harvest meant in that context. I don't know what they wanted from me. I just know I wasn't the first person they hired, and based on what I saw, I won't be the last. Sometimes I dream about that final tarp, and in the dream I'm standing there again, frozen, while something waits in the trees just outside my vision. And sometimes, I think the dream isn't just a memory. I think it's happening again, just from the other side. I think that whatever I pulled from the ground wasn't meant to be disturbed. And I think it's still growing inside me. The first time I saw the bag twitch, I thought I was just overtired. But then it shifted again. Right there in the dark behind the restaurant, under the buzzing yellow light that kept dimming, one of the trash bags I had just dragged out moved like something was breathing inside it. It wasn't the wind. That alley was boxed in by 2 tall brick walls, and the air that night was totally still. The kind of stillness that makes every sound stand out. I heard the plastic crinkle again, and then a soft, deliberate thud, like someone adjusting their weight slowly inside it. I just stood there, holding the dumpster lid open, trying to convince myself it was just a rat. Or maybe I hadn't tied the bag tight enough and something inside had shifted. The restaurant was one of those forgotten places wedged in the corner of a dying strip mall. No drive-through, barely any signage. It stayed open late for guys on the night shift at the distribution center nearby. I worked prep and cleanup, usually clocking out after midnight. We didn't have a proper trash chute, so part of my job was hauling the day's garbage out to the steel dumpster behind the building. That back area always creeped me out a little, mostly because it felt too quiet. There was a single light on a rusted pole, and it never fully worked, just dim enough to make you wish it was darker. But that night was the first time I felt something wrong back there. Not eerie, not weird, Just wrong. Eventually, I stepped back. I let the dumpster lid slam shut fast and loud, like that would make the problem disappear. I remember feeling cold even though it was August. The night air was thick and humid, but under that streetlight, my arms felt like they'd been dipped in ice water. I backed away from the dumpster slowly, not turning around until I was back at the exit door. The kitchen was dark behind me. Everyone had already left except for the dishwasher, who had headphones in and didn't notice anything. I didn't say anything either. What was I supposed to say? Hey, I think one of the trash bags is alive? Eventually, I stepped back. I let the dumpster lid slam shut, fast and loud, like that would make the problem disappear. I remember feeling cold even though it was August. The night air was thick and humid, but under that streetlight, my arms felt like they'd been dipped in ice water. I backed away from the dumpster slowly, not turning around until I was back at the exit door. The kitchen was dark behind me. Everyone had already left except for the dishwasher, who had headphones in and didn't notice anything. I didn't say anything either. What was I supposed to say? Hey, I think one of the trash bags is alive. I didn't sleep well that night. I kept thinking about that sound, that little breath. My room felt too quiet. Every time I shut my eyes, I saw that bag shifting. And when I did finally fall asleep, I dreamed about it. In the dream, the bag was tied tight, but something inside was pushing against the plastic hard enough to stretch it out like a balloon. I remember hearing bones crack in the dream, or maybe it was plastic popping. And just before I woke up, something inside it whispered. I didn't hear what it said. I just knew it was whispering to me. The next night, I tried not to look at the dumpster. I finished my shift and asked the new guy to take out the trash, offering him $20 from my own wallet. He looked confused but didn't say no. He came back 3 minutes later, shrugged, and said nothing weird happened. That should have been a relief, but it didn't sit right. Something about how fast he came back, how he didn't make a sound when he re-entered the kitchen, just walked in, grabbed his keys, and left. Like he wanted to get out of there faster than me. 3 nights later, it was my turn again. I told myself I'd stop being paranoid, that maybe I'd hallucinated the whole thing. Lack of sleep, stress, whatever. But when I stepped outside with the trash bags, I saw that the lid on the dumpster was already open again. It wasn't windy. It hadn't rained. No one else had gone out there. I stood frozen in the doorway just looking at it. The way it was propped open like someone wanted me to notice it. I remember thinking, this feels like bait. I thought about walking away, just leaving the trash inside. But the part of me that didn't want to look like a coward won. I walked to the dumpster fast, dumped the bags, and didn't even bother checking inside. I slammed the lid and turned to leave, and that's when I heard something fall over. Not inside the dumpster, from the other side of it. Like something had been crouching there and lost its balance when I startled it. I didn't turn around. I walked back inside and locked the door. Then I just stood there watching the alley from the kitchen window, but there was nothing. Not a shadow, not a shape, just emptiness. I started checking the cameras the next day. The system was garbage, cheap black and white recordings, 20-minute intervals, no sound. But I found the segment from my trash run. I watched myself step into the frame, bags in hand. I watched the dumpster lid already open, and then I watched the part where I turned to leave, and in that moment, just for 2 frames, I saw something move in the corner. It wasn't a person. It was low to the ground, lumpy and crawling. I paused it there, took a screenshot, zoomed in. It looked like a bundle of limbs wrapped in cloth. No face, no detail, just a shape that shouldn't have been there. I showed it to my manager. He told me to stop messing around. Said if I didn't want to take out the trash, someone else would. I deleted the file before I left that night. I didn't want to keep it. After that, I never went out back alone. I always made someone else come with me. I made jokes about it, played it off like it was some prank I believed in too much. But I never got over the feeling that I'd seen something I wasn't supposed to see. And worse, that it knew I saw it. Like I'd interrupted something it was doing. And now, it was just waiting for me to come back again. The restaurant eventually shut down. Low traffic, rising costs. It wasn't a surprise. But on the last week before we closed for good, I volunteered to do one final closing shift. I guess I wanted to say goodbye to it on my terms. The night was quiet. No customers after 10. The kitchen was clean, lights dimmed. I stood at the back door for a while staring into the dark. That dumpster was still there. Lid shut, unmoving, still. I didn't take the trash out that night. Someone else had already done it, but I walked out there anyway, empty-handed, just to look. And when I got close, I realized something was different. There was no smell, no buzz from the light, no sound at all. The air felt like it was holding its breath, like it was waiting for me to speak first. I placed my hand on the lid, just rested it there. I didn't open it. I didn't need to. I knew it was still down there. Whatever it was. Not animal. Not person. Something in between. Still wrapped in plastic. Still breathing. And now, maybe, still listening.